did, this Shanghai port did 39 million TEUs throughput last year alone. So you can understand how busy is the port and how crucial is that port for that part of the world, and especially to boost China's economy. So let's do a comparative analysis about the Asian subs versus Sri Lanka. We will break it into three areas: infrastructure, policies, and challenges. Singapore, Hong Kong, Jebel Ali, Shanghai have far superior infrastructure and efficiency compared to Sri Lanka. I'm not saying we are inferior, but in terms of apple-to-apple comparison. Then policies, these hubs they have more to offer because stable political environments, transparent regulatory frameworks. Challenges, Sri Lanka faces greater challenges in political instability, infrastructure development, and competition from regional ports. I'm sure you all know the South Indian port of Vizhinjam is coming up, and they will build a large port, and they will be competitive to Sri Lanka, and we need to be prepared to be more competitive than any other port. And obviously, recently there was an announcement that in Lanka Shipping there will be another bigger port coming up. So, are we ready? So this is the comparison which I have done. I'm sure the organizers will share the presentation with all the attendees. So I'm not going to go through all of these because I have a very short time. But if you look at it, it's broken down into areas where aspects versus the ports and versus how Sri Lanka is, where Sri Lanka is positioned. Then understanding the potential hub markets, which is very important. Now, Sri Lanka, how can we, or how and who should we sell our country to? Not sell, but improve or develop as a hub for the which are the markets that we should think about. So, if you look at Chittagong, northwest Pakistan, that is the Gwadar port, that is the Central Asia's doorway, Jebel Ali, UAE, and which are critical links in South Asia's global markets. Then comes India. Now, India ranks among the top world economies in global trade, showing robust import and export activities. Their major trading partners include US, China, and the Middle East. They are very dominant exports in petroleum products, precious stones, machineries, and pharmaceuticals. This gives you a perspective about how India has grown from 1960 all the way up to 2020, where they had pre-economic reforms in 1991 to post-economic reforms. I'll just quickly touch base on both the areas. Pre-economic reforms, pre-1991. Policy, highly protectionist with high tariffs, import quotas, and restricted industrial licensing. Their goal, encourage import substitution, self-reliance, restricted foreign competition. And the trading landscape was limited to international trade, focused on traditional exports like jute and cotton. India still is one of the biggest exporters of cotton in the world right now. Post-economic reforms, post-1991, this shifted the policies completely towards liberalization of certain trades, certain industries, privatization and globalization. Changes which happened, they reduced tariffs, eased the restrictions on foreign investments, promoted and driven towards an export-oriented growth. Outcome was expanded trade significantly, diversified trade partners and products, boosted sectors like IT and services. This one will show you the commodities which is basically traded by India as imports and exports, and the countries and the percentages of what their share is. The significance of the Indian subcontinent countries to as a potential market, again, Chittagong, which is strategically positioned in the Bay of Bengal, which is a pivotal for South Asia's connectivity with Southeast Asia. Northwest Pakistan, that is the gateway to Central Asia, and the port of Gada, which I spoke about earlier, essential for regional economic integration and trade expansion. Jebel Ali, one of the largest man-made harbors, vital transshipment for the Middle East, efficiently connecting the east and west trade routes, and also the feeding point to Upper Gulf, Lower Gulf, and also certain Central Asian ports. Sri Lanka as a central focal point for Indian subcontinent countries. Strategic importance of Sri Lanka is the geography. Located critically in the maritime route, the Indian Ocean, enhancing connectivity, trade flows between the east and west and vice versa. Hub potential. We offer efficient transshipment services, trying to reducing the logistics costs and enhancing supply chain efficiencies. Our role should be enhancing regional trade dynamics, be a facilitator of trade, act as an hub for neighboring countries, fostering regional economic integration and trade collaborations. Economic benefits. There will be enhanced competitiveness and market access, attracting global investment in infrastructure and in logistics. Competitive advantages will be the proximity again and also the cost efficiency. Now this shows exactly what I spoke about, how Sri Lanka is strategically positioned in the Indian Ocean, right in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and the connectivity to all of the ports that we spoke about earlier. Challenges. If you go talking about all the challenges, I will not have time. Probably I have to take all 9 speakers' time if I start talking about individually. But political instability is something very, very important for us. We need to have a stable political background. Economic challenges, infrastructure limitations, competition from the regional ports, which is fair competition, obviously. So we need to gear up rather than cry about it. Then global tensions. This is geopolitics. Regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles, and of course, human resource constraints. So this opportunity for Sri Lanka's maritime sector is expansion of port infrastructure. We need expansion of infrastructure to be improved, and then strengthening of regulatory frameworks, enhancing transparency and reducing bureaucratic hurdles to attract foreign investments. And then enhancing regional cooperation, collaborating with neighboring countries to promote regional stability and facilitate trade. This is the current state of the port of Colombo. This is the bird's eye view. And step by step, I will show you how the port is supposed to get expanded all the way up to 2030. ECT, which will add 11.5 million TEUs altogether as a throughput. Then the CWIT, West Terminal, that's Adani's investment in Sri Lanka, 24 to 26. That's going to add another 14.9. Will add up to 14.9 million. Then comes the CTET project, phase 2 up to 2030. West Terminal extension by 2028. North Port breakwater by 2030 again. And then comes the ECT's extensions. Finally, North Port terminals by 2040. So by 2040, if I'm still alive, we should have about 35 million TEUs throughput, all in all. And this is not made up information, this is actual information which I have received from Sri Lanka Ports Authority. So this is our expansion plan, and this should go as planned, not being hindered by the issues that I spoke earlier about the political instabilities, economic challenges, infrastructure limitations, competition, which is fair enough, geopolitical tensions, and of course, human resource constraints. Addressing challenges and embracing. So, political stability. We need to have a stable government, some people who can get something done, rather than every 5 years we have a different minister and then that particular minister's ideas and opinions changes. We can't have that. We need to have a proper long-term plan rather than a short-term 5-year plan. And then infrastructure development, diplomacy, navigating geopolitical tensions through dialogue and diplomacy to ensure regional stability. I'm not a politician, but I leave it up to the politicians. But still again, this is something as industry should be addressing towards our leaders of the country or the future leaders of the country should understand. Skills development. Investing education is one of the key things. Sri Lanka, when I was studying, we did not have shipping related activities. We just did A-level commerce where we had a little bit of a curriculum towards shipping and related activities. That was it. But now we see a lot of companies which have developed shipping and logistics degrees, diplomas, and certain other activities, which is a good thing. The only thing is we need to retain these people. Youngsters who study now, they would opt to go overseas, where then we have another problem of the human resource constraints. Regulatory reforms, streamlining processes, reducing corruption, and enhancing transparency. Very important. If we are going to put on red tapes and barriers in our own bureaucratic way for people to come and invest, or people to start up new ventures or innovative ventures in Sri Lanka, but if we don't have the regulatory reforms according to what is expected from these foreign investors, this is not going to work. Sustainability, of course, this is something very important. Adopting green technologies, practices to minimize environmental impact and comply with IMO and international regulations. I'm a strong advocate of this particular practice because the emissions from ships to planes and vehicles, etc. We need to move on. We need to be more sustainable. We need to think about green economies moving further. So, conclusion. Sri Lanka's maritime potential is very significant. As I said, location, location, location. That is all that we have mentioned all this while. But like I said earlier, if we compare ourselves with the other maritime hub nations, can we do this? So overcoming challenges are very crucial for us. Development and continued investment, collaboration and innovation are essential for Sri Lanka to emerge as a competitive maritime hub. This should be addressed, challenges should be embraced and opportunities should be taken in, and adapting to sustainable practices. Sri Lanka will and can play a pivotal role in global trade dynamics. Thank you very much.